Welcome. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use trig functions to find missing sides of right triangles as long as we're given the angle measures. So we know it's a right triangle. We know this is a 60 degree, which tells us this is also a 30 degree, which we really don't need to know that. I'm going to use the 60 degree. The question asks us to find the length of GI. GI is this opposite side of angle H, or the 60 degree we're given. Or also we know the hypotenuse. So which trig function uses the opposite and the hypotenuse? Well, that's the sine. Well, I can find the sine of a 60 degree angle then using our special right triangle, which I've drawn over here. Sine of 60 degrees is going to equal the square root of 3 over 2. And that ratio must be the same regardless of the size of the triangle. So right back here, I can set up that ratio. I'm going to take the opposite side, which is some unknown side. So I'm just going to use x to represent this opposite side here. And I'm going to put it over the hypotenuse, which is 8 square roots of 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this simple equation for x. I meant to click a different color. This equation right here. It's a simple ratio equation. I'm going to multiply both sides by 8 square roots of 3. 8 square roots of 3 on the right side to cancel. And I'm going to multiply by 8 square roots of 3 on this side. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. 8 over 2, that reduces to a 4. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. My x value is 12. And I found that by just using the ratio of the sine of 60 degrees. Now, as you get higher, if they give you a 30-60 or a 45-45 right triangle, I would recommend using the reference triangles. But as you get higher, you're going to get to angle measures that are not the 45. Let's do one more that's a 45. Okay, we want to find the side QR. QR, that's the hypotenuse here. We want to find a hypotenuse. We know the 45 degree angle and we know the opposite side. So again, I'm going to use the sine of 45 degrees, and I can use my reference triangle to find that. Right, my reference triangle is 1, 1, square root of 2, and that's a horrible right triangle, but you get the idea. And 45 degrees, sine is going to be 1 over the square root of 2. I guess I should put it up here, 1 over the square root of 2, and that ratio should be the same no matter what my right triangle. So I'm going to use my opposite and hypotenuse, which is 3 over some x value, because I don't know what this hypotenuse is, opposite over hypotenuse. Now I just solve. I'm going to multiply the x up first. So I'm solving this equation here. I don't like x on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply the x over here, which cancels on the bottom. Then I multiply that by the square root of 2, and I find out x is equal to 3 square roots of 2. And so I type that in. 3 square roots of 2. Now again, I'm going to jump ahead because eventually we get to angles that are not nice measures, like 49 degrees. This is where you're going to use a calculator. You're going to find out what this, well, first of all, I don't know if it's sine. Let's find out which side I need, or I'm looking for Vx. Vx is this side here. With respect to the 49 degrees, it is the opposite side, so I will be using the sine. I'm going to take the sine of 49 degrees and set that equal to this opposite side, which is some unknown length x, over the hypotenuse, which is 8. Now I just use a calculator. I grab my fancy calculator here, make sure I'm in degree mode. I take the sine of 49 degrees, and I find out that is 0.7547 something something something, which is equal to x over 8. Now I multiply both sides by 8. By the way, that's supposed to be an 8. The 8's cancel, multiply 0.74 by 8, and I find out what my x value is. My x value is, times by 8, 6.037. Since it says to round to the nearest tenth, that's just 6. So I type in 6. So again, you'll be using your calculator as you get a little higher. Again, let's just do one more very quickly. Here I'm looking for BC. BC, it keeps using the sine function. I'm sure some of these will be tangent and cosine. So just realize that you could get tangent and cosine. Yeah, this one's sine again, because I'm looking for FG, which is this side. I know the opposite side of the angle. So again, I'm going to be using the sine of 52 degrees, which I'll use a calculator to do, equals the square root of 42 over the hypotenuse side of x, length x. So on my calculator, I just take the sine of 52 degrees, find out that that's 0.788 equals that square root of 42 over x times both sides by x to get the x out from the denominator, and then divide by 0.788. So x is equal to the square root of 42 divided by 0.788. And again, I just do that on my calculator and round. So the square root of 42 divided by that 0.788 gives me an x value of 8.22. But it says round to the nearest tenth, so 8.2. If you have any questions, please bring them to class.